Is it okay to talk like this? Okay. Um, we are still waiting for some for the technical issues to be over, but I will start by presenting you our social media demo, and I would like to start with a little disclaimer. Because this module that you will see is the version that we created 4 to 5 years ago. So some of the topics that you can see or the examples of social media are a little bit outdated because we decided to translate our social media module that is normally in Dutch into English so that we could present it on occasions like this and also use it as a tool during this European project. Our original Dutch version is updated every year, but this one is just to present the module and the methodologies to different people, but it's not to be used with parents. So just a little disclaimer. About the social media module, this is a tool that we developed 5 years ago. No, it's 7 years ago. I'm sorry, time goes very fast because we found out that the parents that were coming to our trainings were not always the most were usually the most informed parents, as something that was also mentioned before the lunch. Usually the parents that we reached in our trainings were the enthusiastic, already very informed parents that wanted to know more. But parents that had a lot of questions and needs were harder to reach. And that's why we started a project to adapt our presentation to the needs of more vulnerable parents. And in this uh, the project process that we did a few years ago, we organized a lot of focus groups with different parents in vulnerable situations to adapt our training methodology to their needs. And we came up with a few different things. One of the things was that we wanted to make something that was very visual. Second of all, we also wanted to implement the experiences from parents and children, because that was something that they lacked in our previous, to see what other parents did, how they coped with media parenting in their household. And that's why we also implemented a lot of videos with testimonies of parents, of children, and also a little bit of experts. And then a third very important improvement was that we wanted to use different methodologies to stimulate interaction between parents in the audience, because previously, a long time ago, our presentations were mostly one-way communication from the trainer to the parents. But with these new training modules, we really wanted to provoke this interaction between parents so that they could talk about their experiences, share and learn from each other. And that's why we came up with and developed these modules that were also the example that was used during this European project to adapt them in the 5 different countries and regions. Normally, I would go to the website to show you the module in real life, but since that's not really possible now, I would like to just go through the different methodologies with you, and Nadège will be my my assistant, and will try to show you the different parts of the module. Maybe I can also show. Yes, and it's also on the slides. So I do think if you are following on your phone, you will have to download an app to be able to access it. But we will also show it here on the smaller screen. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, it's the PowerPoint. Voila. Okay. So if you are following online on your phone or here on our little screen, you can see that there are 7 different parts in the social media module. And it's really divided into 2 parts. The first part is what children and teenagers do online. And the second part on the right-hand side is how you can deal with what your child does online as a parent. So these are really 2 different parts of the training module. Every part is a different methodology that can be used during a training. And in the second part of our presentation, Nadège will go further into detail into how you can use this in a training for parents. The first methodology is a little quiz. As you can see, there are different social media apps that you can discuss with parents. And if you click on one of the apps, you get a question that you can ask to the audience. For instance, we will try this one. Like a toddler? No. Ah, yeah, okay. So the logo that Nadège clicked on has a question behind it. And the question is, do you recognize this app? Do you know what kind of an app this is? There you have 3 possible answers. The first one is a screaming site. The second one is microblog. And the third one is a message app. Usually we ask to the audience, what do you think that this logo is about? So maybe I will try it right now also. The first option is streaming site. Who thinks that this purple and white logo is a streaming site? Okay, for people who thinks that this is a microblog? Nobody. And who thinks that this is a message app? Ah, but that is the question. I think the majority of the people that answered think it's the first option, so a streaming site. And yes, that is correct. This is the logo of Twitch. There also comes a little explanation to explain to parents what this app is about. And there's also a little print screen of what the app looks like. Usually in a training, a trainer can use this to ask parents, for instance, which apps do you already know, or which ones do you think your child uses and you don't know anything about it. So it's really a starting point to explain a little bit more which social media apps are used by children and by teenagers, but without going really into depth into it. It's just to make sure that parents have some notion of what children and teenagers are using. Okay, then we can go, yes, back. The second methodology or part in the module are the testimonials of children. These are testimonials of children between 8 and 12 years old. And they really talk freely about a few different topics that we asked them about. For instance, are there rules around screen time in your home? What is TikTok? Do your parents control your internet use, etc.? It's it's a few short clips from different children that really talk about their own experience, what happens in their home, which things they use. And this methodology is really a very nice conversation starter. We usually use this to show, aha, it's working, very nice. Okay, so this is what we were talking about, the testimonials of children. And as you can see, there's a few different topics, and I will try to show one video, for instance, this one. You can see with the subtitles what they are saying.
Dan, ja, van mijn ouders mag ik ook geen TikTok, omdat heel de wereld wel ziet en zo. Op social media heel de wereld ziet.
Ik vind het TikTok leuk om filmpjes te bekijken van iemand. En ik vind het ook leuk om filmpjes te maken en al. Ik heb al een account op mijn telefoon. En als ik leuke liedjes vind, dan maak ik daar zelf wel vaak een TikTok op. Maar die zet ik dan meestal wel privé.
As you can see, each video ends with a concrete tip for parents regarding the specific topic of that video. This is a very nice way to get the conversation between parents going around. Do you think your child would respond like any of the children you saw? Do you recognize this? Did you learn something new? Or is there something concerning or interesting that you saw in these videos? It's a very nice way to really start a conversation with parents, to let them exchange also their different views on how to use these, how their children use these social media. The third part is similar to what you just saw, but these are testimonials from teenagers. So children between ages 13 to 16, 17 also share around a few different topics. I'm not going to show these. You can visit the website on your own and see all the videos there if you would like to watch them. So these first three methodologies really give an insight into the world of children and teenagers, and also show which social media they use and why they think it is so much fun, and also things they come across online. The second part is then really aimed at what you can do as a parent, and these are different testimonials of parents that share their own experiences, and that can also be used to provoke this interaction between the parents. I will show this one. This is a specific video.
Ik gebruik mijn gezin voor Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat en voor andere dingen zoals Google, meest YouTube.
Voordien was er eigenlijk niet veel afspraken, waaraan ik merkte dat mijn kinderen heel veel op de iPads en de gsm zaten. Dus het gezinscontact was ook wel weg. Dan ben ik aan tafel gaan zitten met mijn man en mijn kinderen en wij zo tot afspraken gekomen.
Als het eigenlijk school is het maximaal wel een uurtje. En als het eigenlijk, dus zoals nu de grote vakantie of zaterdag of zondag of zo'n week, dan zit ik er eigenlijk lang op.
Af en toe willen ze zo eens een kwartiertje langer. Maar ja, van een kwartier komt een half uur en van een half uur komt een uur. Dus nee, afspraak is afspraak.
Ja, aan tafel en zo. Dat doe ik niet, maar als dat slapen is of zo, durf ik die wel eens mee te nemen.
Tommy, ja, durft soms de regels overschrijden. Durft af en toe zijn gsm mee naar zijn slaapkamer pakken. Maar dan ontdekken wij dat. Want normaal, als hij gaat slapen, laat hij zijn gsm op. En af en toe ga ik zoiets naar de keuken voor drinken te pakken. En dan zie ik zijn gsm nu liggen en dan weet ik dat. Hij heeft dat nog maar een paar keer geprobeerd.
Ja, dan krijgen we niet echt een straf, maar dan zeggen ze tegen ons, ja, je moet dat niet meer doen. Dan is eigenlijk onze gsm afgepakt, dat we eigenlijk leren. Onze gsm is eigenlijk niet meer naar boven te pakken.
Als ze de regels overschrijden, wordt een dag erop beginnen met een kwartier afgepakt van uw gsm. Mogen ze nog maar 3 kwartier op uw gsm in plaats van een uur.
Ik vind van de afspraken dat dat heel goed is. Zoals aan tafel geen gsm en slapen eigenlijk naar uw kamer. Vind ik dat wel goed. Maar het leukste zou zijn dat ik mijn gsm aan tafel zou nemen, maar ik maak de regels niet, mijn ouders wel. Dus.
Bij mij thuis de strengste, ze zeggen meestal de mama.
As you can see, these sort of videos are usually very recognizable for parents because, let's be honest, everyone struggles with rules and agreements around screen time at home. But it's a very nice way to show different ways parents, but also children, share their views on media parenting and media education. We also know that these type of videos work really well with different groups of more vulnerable parents because it's very recognizable, and also you don't have to be able to read or understand everything that is written. You just have to hear what they're sharing. The next methodology are different propositions or statements. For every module, we have 5 different statements regarding the specific topic. So as you can see here, we have 5 statements regarding the use of social media. During a training, a trainer can ask in the audience which statement they would like to discuss, or choose a few topics that haven't been addressed before during the training, or that seem very interesting for the group that is sitting there. If you click on one of the statements, it appears a little bit bigger, and usually during a training we then ask the parents to stand up and go to the right hand side or the left hand side if they agree or don't agree with this statement. The statements are formulated in such a way that you usually don't want to say, I totally agree or I totally do not agree, but we try to force parents to choosing a side so that we can get a real discussion around this topic. If you click on the question mark, there comes after the discussion also a bit more information on this statement and why we chose to put it in this module. But for now, I will leave it at this. Apart from the statements, we also have some experts sharing their view or their expertise on a certain topic. For instance, here, the colleague from Karen, who was here before the lunch, is explaining a bit more about screen time and how you can make agreements in your home around screen time. The next one is talking about why YouTube is so popular. And then the final video, our colleagues from Child Focus, who are talking about what you can do as a parent if sexting goes wrong. We also use these expert videos because sometimes it's easier for parents around very specific topics to hear something from an expert in the field. I'm speeding through the module a little bit so that we don't get too far behind on schedule. But the final part in every training is the tips for parents. So we end every training with 10 parenting tips around this specific topic. I'll show one to start with. The first tip is show interest in the online activities of your child and have an open conversation with your child as an equal partner. Usually these tips have come up during the training already, but by presenting them at the end of each training, it's a very good reminder for parents and something that they really take home. The final tip in every training is always more information on where parents can find help if they need help. So that if they have a specific question or are worried about something, they can find more information with different partner organizations. And we also always put the information of the Child Focus helpline, where parents can also day and night call to with their questions and concerns. This was a very quick speed through our social media module. This module was the starting point for the different partners in this European project to start developing their own modules. And I'm very happy that after this project of 3.5 years, after this presentation, the other partners can also present their own modules. And it's very nice to see that what once started 15 years ago as a one-time training has now evolved into such a very nice training program in different countries. Nadège will also guide us through how you can use this and how our trainers use this tool, this training module during training.
Thank you, Astrid. I would like to maybe to react when concluding this module with the parents about what I heard in the presentation of Arnaud this morning with this strategic naivety on putting the children or the kids in an expert situation. We have a concrete example about here, how do we take the temperature among young people towards their parents at educational level, and I cannot retain myself to share it with you for a very short time. That's in this social media training module. You will see there is this teenage. Okay, you already switched to no problem because I'm improvising. That was not foreseen at all. So okay, I switched to my PowerPoint, no problem. But there is also, and I can just conclude this part by saying that we also take into consideration what the young people are saying at social media use, but also what do young people could expect from their parents at accompanying level, educational level, or pedagogical level. So it's always interesting to show how it fits to what was said tonight. So be there for me, like a safety way, a safety attach where I can always come back to, be there for me, but without controlling, without being there all the time on my shoulder to see what I'm doing and too much controlling. It makes me think to the triangle, boring triptych of parents. So that's exactly this. So let's
Geef je
start.
kind de vrijheid om te doen wat ze willen, maar houd nog een beetje in de gaten. Geef ze wel
Okay.
de privacy. Bijvoorbeeld, ja, ik wil ook
No,
niet
it's
dat mijn mama
a
al mijn...
teenage talking about what they are expecting from their parent. Okay. So what now? As a trainer, because it's very important to know that the module we present, it's the training material, the didactical material, but the magic happens with the trainer. This is not going to work if you do not have a trainer which will facilitate the module and stimulate the interaction among the parents and create a safety atmosphere among parents, because we know that, and that's the purpose of the module, to create interaction, a safety feeling about very intimate issue, education of your kids, within your family, parenting, media parenting, it's quite difficult. So what now? Important to evaluate the module. So on an anonymous way, it's of course better, it works better. So after each training module, we take the time to evaluate it at different kind of level, how attractive it was it low threshold, very comprehensive. But also I highlighted here in yellow, what did you learn as a parent? And do you feel after those 1 hour, 1 hour and a half or 2 hours workshops about responsible use, creative use of social media for your kids, do you feel comfortable to address internet matters with my kids, with your kids, and how? You see, that's the main focus. It's this one. It's very interesting for us to know, what do they come back, what do they will take away at home, and how will they implement in practical all what the trainer will have say and hammered and repeat and insist on. Trust, create dialogue, be there for your kids, show interest without being judgmental. It's quite easy thing to say, but very difficult thing to apply in a concrete situation. So that's why we focus on that. Do not hesitate to No, we will encourage you to evaluate it, because it's also a way to see if it was an appropriate way to address the issue and to keep up to date the content of your training module. So as Astrid explained, it's a very flexible module or didactical material. Please consider it as a signing post. You can enter and start where you want as a trainer. And it's so flexible because we started from the parents' needs, parents' concern. Before building this training module, we took a lot of time to organize focus group. I heard also the word co-creation this morning. In the presentation in the participation of Sabrina, we try to do this in that way. So please go It's go evaluate, go listen to the parents and to the kids, because they are the final beneficiaries of this module, to adapt it accordingly to what exactly lives according to the evaluation of the technology and of your own way to address it also. So different kind of level of evaluation. You can also find everything in the toolbox that I will present it by the end of this afternoon. We said it quite flexible. When you are a trainer, it's not easy to deal with all the concerns of the parents. It's not an easy way to facilitate. You know, before this shape of the training module, we had a very old, boring PowerPoint presentation, classical, easy to use, but also easier to use for the trainer, because it's a little bit like, yes, your memory is on the, you have your bullet point. It's quite a shelter for your memory, this presentation. Here, you do not have to know everything, but you have to be very comfortable with the vision. All questions that you will receive, you need to know how to guide the parents among them. So it's really a switch in your posture, in your position as a trainer. I'm not the expert at technical level. I'm here the expert to make sure that the parents will feel safety, and we will try to will be able to cherry picking the tips they need, and they will be able in their parenting skills to apply in their home, in their own families. You can cope with the parents, for example, I need to know parents, I want to know figures, I want to know what the children are doing. Please use the quiz. Start with the quiz. You will share some more factual information, the application that the children are using every day, why they are using it every day. You can cope with the parents as a trainer. Oh, here I'm feeling read. Maybe I'm not addressing the media parenting in an appropriate way. I don't feel comfortable with. Please start with the testimonies of the parents. Start with this one. Directly, this very stressed parent will be reassured by, okay, I'm not the only one. There are also other read parents around me. Is my child doing normal because he's all the time, like 2-3 hours using a game or gaming or using social media or Instagram with all the influencers? Is that okay? Is that not okay? Let's start with the testimonies of the children then. Directly, the parent will feel relaxed, like, okay, my child is actually totally a standard child at that point of view, and then I will be here safe to share all my concerns and my worries to that. The very difficult one, the ones who are struggling with question or difficulties regarding the teenager at home, at question related to how do I address question related to online sexuality, sexting, nude in an appropriate way. You will also find some answer through the testimonies of the teenager. How to control. We see, do you remember one of the component of the triptych, Boeing adult triptych, to control? Please start with the experts, the testimonies of the experts. Okay, do you remember Arnaud said also, it's really important that the parents' worries and concerns have to be heard. Here is a section where the worries and the concern can be heard, and non-judgmental also towards the parents. Like his answer to you, Carrie, by saying, yes, okay, DSM-5, no problem. If you think that, okay, maybe yes, but have you think about another way to have another perspective on the question? Oh, there is one high. Okay. The slide is well hidden, but it's not a problem. Another way to use it, another kind of perspective on this training module is the groups dynamic. This tool, the Clint actually, this platform is also here to support the trainer, to stimulate the interaction, the safety feeling, but also different kind of acting parents in the way they are acting as an audience. I will try to clarify myself. For example, if you cope or if you have to deal with a very silent group of parents, no one there to react, they are maybe very tired from a very long, hard and tough day. They do not want to participate. So quite difficult when the goal of the training is based on interaction. So of course, here also you can use the videos for a shy group who you feel there is no trust in this group, or for a very quiet or silent group. Start with the testimonies because it's very recognizable. They will recognize the child of the testimony, their own child, relaxing. And you cannot retain yourself by not sharing a meaning when having a look of viewing these testimonies. If you have, for example, in front of you, parents having difficulties with the language skills, or maybe speaking another language home, also repeating, trying to adapt your maybe a low threshold language of choose of words, but start also of not start, but insist of use the testimonies of the parents as an ally with the video. It will be easier and an accessible way to convey the pedagogical vision. In the opposite, if you have a fire group on fire, opinionating or debating a lot, fantastic. Please use the statement and the proposition by let them voting. And if you have a skeptical one, you know, maybe the technical parents, very a geek in ICT or something like that, very having expectation about parental controls or more technical aspects, or the expert sections, and the video will also help you a lot to make from this parent an ally, and please involve him, to not reject him, but make of the skeptical parents an ally. So yes, I will conclude the how to use presentation by some point of attention, key points for the trainer. And actually, I think that I said it already. It's really the challenge of this program was to have some facilitators, some trainer, which feel comfortable at the social media and internet level, but at the same time with parenting advices, because you do nothing else than answer to parents with educational and parenting questions. So you have to feel comfortable with those issues, and also groups dynamic, how to facilitate, to make people, you have to create actually a nest for those parents who are already tired, who are sometimes skeptical, so not willing to react or to be in interaction. So I repeat, the module itself, it's not the only one success factor. The magic happens with the trainer all the time. And I think I will conclude like that. Maybe Astrid, you want to add something, or no? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nadège. And Astrid, are there any questions for these ladies? Wait, microphone.
It's for the online.
It's for the online colleagues.
Just one comment. Nadège, I have seen this presentation probably 3 or 4 times, done by the same presenters, and I enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we have an idea about what a training module about social media might look like. And I deliberately say might look like, because we have been talking about taking a best practice and exporting it to another country or region. But there's hardly anything that still works if you do just a copy paste of one initiative and you copy paste it to another context. That does not work. So SOE was not about copying, it was about adapting and making sure that this beautiful thing that worked very well in Flanders would also work in the other implementing countries or regions. So to conclude and to make the full circle round, we will now hear from the different partner organizations on how they took this initiative and all together worked on how to make it work in their local context, how they did that, and what might have been the challenges along the way. So we will be hearing from every implementing partner in this SOE project. Partners, I'm going to be very strict with the time. You all have 10 minutes, and I have a 2-minute paper waving if you are approaching your deadline. But I'm convinced it will be very inspiring to hear because we often say localization. What did that mean? We will show you, and we are going to start with our colleagues from the Cypriotic SafeOnline initiatives. So Haris will present the way they took it in Cyprus. Oh, sorry, I have another order. Sorry. Sorry, we should start with Urania. It's my mistake. I wrote down the wrong order in my paper. Sorry, Urania. So Urania, she will tell us how the Greek SafeOnline initiative initiated and works today. And then we will hear from Haris.
So I'm Rania Xilouri. I'm from Athens, Greece. I'm very happy to be here today, and I'm very happy to be here today for two reasons. First of all, because after 4 years, this project comes to an end, which is very nice to happen. And the second reason that I'm very happy to be here today is because it comes to an end having exquisite results and very high quality products. You will have the opportunity in the presentations that will follow, in the 5-minute presentations that will follow, to see the results that come from all the countries. But I also invite everybody to go through the deliverables of the project, to see our platforms, to see our websites, to see our books, and to become familiarized with what we have been working with during the 3 years of the implementation. So now I will start presenting the Greek implementation, the way we delivered the project in Greece. So the first step, it is a 3-step process. The delivery in Greece was a 3-step process. And the first step in this delivery was with the development of the platform. It is an e-learning platform. It is an open e-learning platform, or otherwise a website. And I think that a great success of the Greek case has been the fact that we actually copied the Flemish example. So we used the Flemish example and almost in all its totality. And I think that this also contributed in the success of the project results in Greece. So in order to develop our e-learning platform, which you can see here, it is a photograph of the e-learning platform, but you can go on and explore it yourselves. In order to develop it, we started with the videos. We had a series of very inspiring videos. Just to make also a personal note that these videos also help also me very much as a parent to feel better, that other people do worse than I do, to see that they have actually the same reservations, confusions in dealing with all the issues that were discussed this morning. So we had a series of videos that came with experts, with children, with youth, with parents. And as you also can see, we have the tips, we have the agree and disagree section, exactly as demonstrated a few minutes ago by Astrid and Nadej. The second step now we had in this process was the recruitment of the participants. Contrary to what was discussed this morning, this was an easy process for us. It was a very easy process, and I will share with you what we did in order to deliver in Greece. We had a very simple dissemination strategy. We had a newsletter, some Facebook posts and some news items in our website. But what we managed to do early on is to involve strategic partners coming from the Ministry of Education that had the capacity to mobilize the school community. So in a very short period of time, we had the interest of a number of schools in the Athens region. I have to share that the interest was so high that we could not cater for the need. So we had this dissemination strategy, we had the collection of the interest, and then we had the actual delivery of the seminars. We say here over the 500 parents. A total of 525 parents participated in our seminars in Greece. They were delivered through the school system. So each school that was interested to participate would provide the space and the time, usually an afternoon, to deliver the trainings in groups of 10 to 25 parents. This lasted for a period of approximately 3 months. As we said, during the implementation period, each afternoon in Greece, one of our teachers, one of the 8 teachers that delivered these seminars, would deliver a seminar in one school in Athens, in the Athens region. And the modules are the ones that, again, were discussed earlier today, were the 5 modules, the social media, privacy, online gaming, online sexual relationships, and internet addictions, cyberbullying. So it's a good student. She's perfect always. So these were the 5 modules. And before closing, I just want to say which was the pool of the trainers. The pool of the trainers came from the so-called media coaches. This project is one in a series of projects we have delivered in the field of media literacy. And the first one, it is a flagship project for us, was the Media Coach project. So from this pool of 100 media coaches that were trained in Greece, we had 2 people that participated as trainers in this project. But we also had what we call in Greece school counselors. These are people that have in their responsibility the scientific, let's say, coordination of schools. In this pool of school coordinators, we had some people that were very competent in Greece in teaching media literacy. And some of them came from this source. So we had 8 trainers. And here I have some photographs from our sessions that you can have a look and get a little bit of the experience. And yes, and these are some news item and Facebook social media posts that followed in the schools that we delivered after the end of the training. And that's all from me.
Thank you, Rania. Oh, wow, that's loud. Haris. Everyone awake?
Thank you very much. Thank you for this event today. It's been amazing so far. It's actually really good that I'm following Urania because that means I get to skip all the things that Urania has already talked about, which is great because we shared the same platform because we share the same national language, which also must have saved a little bit on the budget. Sorry, do I use this? Yeah. Which is the budget? The big one. Okay. So I'm going to capitalize on what Urania has already talked about. And just to say that we are the smaller of the countries that participate in this project. Our population is below 1 million, which is 1/20th of Romania. and about 1/10 of Bulgaria and Greece. So thank you, Rania, for pointing out that we need to train 500 people. So I think considering the circumstances, being able to deliver 15 seminars to over 350 participants is actually a success for Cyprus. But I'm going to explain how we did that, because we've discovered that we could not go about it the same way as Urania's group did. Even though we often talked about it in the group and in our monthly meetings, we found that localization also means that if needed, you need to change your approach. So we decided to use our disadvantage, which was the small population, to our advantage, and I'll tell you how we did it. So we ran 15 seminars. I should tell you that I'm actually running another seminar this coming Tuesday to private schools, and we expect about 50 more participants from that one. So that's pretty good. We had 5 sessions in person, mainly in elementary schools. This is where we got most interest from, and 10 online sessions. Now, the online sessions were extremely popular, and you will see from our attendance lists, which also keep a very detailed record of how much time each participant spent online and in the seminar, that they were very successful. Approximately 350 participants, and I expect this number to rise because we fully intend to continue with these seminars until the very end of the project. So fingers crossed. We use 3 trainers. As Urania said, of the 3 trainers, I am one. The other 2 came from the Media Coach project, a project that I'm particularly proud of, Urania, and I thank you. I have been thanking you for 7 years for that proposal. I think it laid the ground for this particular project. So in most cases, 2 trainers were either in the room or on the platform in order to encourage interaction between the participants, and also to offer support with technology, because sometimes it is necessary, as we witnessed today. So as I said, training is ongoing and the numbers might change. This is a screenshot from the platform that we shared. So the materials are available for free. We emphasize this when we go to these meetings. They're available in Greek, and they include all the original videos that we did in Cyprus. Greece did their own videos. We did our own videos. And on some occasions, for example, for the experts, we shared because of the common language. So I think it worked really well for us. Now, in this project, we also had partners in order to help us promote these seminars. And even though in our chapter in the book that we have here today, we pointed out that it's important to have strategic partnerships. As we will point out now, sometimes these strategic partnerships may not yield the results that you expect. So even though we had the Pan-Cyprian School for the Parents, and the Cyprus Pedagogical Institute, and one of the confederacies of high school parents. And even though we had several meetings with them, and they made the information available on their websites, and they promoted, and they sent newsletters, etc., we found that this actually yielded very little in terms of the turnout to the seminars. So we decided that this was clearly not going to be enough. And I should tell you that the bulk of our seminars took place in April and in May. I mean, in May, literally, I would do like 3 seminars per week, 6 to 8 every evening. I might not miss that, but I'm going to miss the project because I love the project. So we did several dissemination events in order to promote this project. When I was doing the counting in order to inform our external evaluator for this, I counted at least 11 dissemination events. And there's probably more that I'm forgetting. I'm going to look for the information, but we did pretty much everything. We did presentations at schools. We did presentations at local and at international conferences. We did a lot of promotion on social media, both our personal social media and our institutional social media. I should tell you that actually the social media promotion that yielded the results was the one that came from our personal social media. Now, because we realized that the partnerships, the strategic partnerships were not yielding any results, we decided that we were going to do the next best thing. And in a place like Cyprus, where 6 degrees of separation is not really a reality, 2 degrees of separation is, meaning that a person knows a person that knows a person, we decided to use that approach. So we went directly to the schools. We met with headmasters and headmistresses that we knew. We met with friends and friends of friends who were on the board of schools, parents associations in the schools of our friends, children's, etc., etc. So effectively, we took great advantage both of our personal network, but also a greater network as a university, and that really helped. Most participations and requests for seminar organizations came as a result of these direct contacts, and it turned out that we had the most interest from private schools, not from public schools. Ergo, the emphasis on the privileged parents, so not the ones that really needed the most help. But unfortunately, we have discovered that we find it very difficult to get to the ones that need this the most. So perhaps a challenge in the future, if we find a way to continue the project, which I hope that we will sustain this effort, is to actually get to the communities of parents that need it the most. Now, the challenges we encountered came mostly from the pandemic, of course, as everybody. We found that the pandemic made people a lot more dependent on the technology, which meant that they discovered that they can do a lot of things online. So why should they attend physically the seminar? So they much preferred the online interaction. Now, the problem with that was that we felt that there was less interaction between the participants. So we had to come up with ways of making this interactive. And I think we managed by breaking them into discussion groups and then asking them to report back. Now, I should say that these are little tricks that we learned from you guys. And thank you so very much, because if there's one thing that we really need to say and we really need to emphasize, is that we got excellent, truly excellent training from Child Focus and Gezinsbond. It was truly amazing. I'm sure we all agree that you trained as well in order to be able to put the information across. So we used all the techniques that we took from you in Brussels 2 years ago. We actually put it into practice. So we decided to use, as I said, a blended approach, some seminars in person, some seminars online. We adapted the methodology to cater to the needs of and attract as many participants as possible, because really we thought that the goal was to get the message across. And if we were getting the message across, that should be good enough. We used the more personal approach, and we strongly recommend this for contexts that are smaller in population. In some ways, I think that the online seminars should work really well for contexts with great populations. If you have 20 million, for example, and you choose to do things online, that means that you reach out to a lot more people than if you do it face to face. This is our wonderful team. Mario says that I'm probably 30 years old there, but no, Marios, I have professional makeup there, which is great, you know. Maria Christodoulou and Naga Stylianidou both came from the Media Coach program. Our national coordinator, Marios Vrionidis, and myself, we would very much like to thank you for the opportunity to be part of this project and for everything we have learned in the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now I will now hear from more Romanian colleagues.
Hello, everybody. Together with my colleague Gabriela Grosek, we are pleased to present you the red line of our history of the project. Of course, each country has its own story, and we have our story, of course. It seems that we don't have the video, the PowerPoint presentation here. As long as I will explain a few words, can you forward to Paola again my message from you? I didn't ask you because I was very sure that you received it. It's included here. Just a forward, what I sent it. Okay, so I have to change my my model and my role, and to talk to you a little bit about the different phases of our story in Romania. Of course, each of us we have in particular different cultural context, and this was maybe the main provocative and challenging thing, because the model was done. We knew that it's working. But how it will work in each national context, this was the first challenge. The second one is that of pandemic period. Of course, we considering that we will do all our trainings face to face in person, but no, we had to adapt again the trainings and other things in order to know how to keep the people, how to contact the parents. And one of the most important thing what we had in this period, it was the very special connection what we have with the high school environment, because our university has a special department which are working very closely with all the inspectorate from the country. And then we were thinking that maybe not just in our part of the country can be developed the trainings, especially that it's possible to be online, where we stop to think that it's still possible to have in person, but we continue to develop, and we were thinking how to select our trainers. And we selected two from our region and another one from the central of Romania. And this was really interesting because we had the opportunity to involve in the period of time when we had all these online trainings to develop and to cover a biggest part of the country. And in this way, we had, I don't remember exactly the figure, but we had 649 or 70 people who attend the meeting, the trainings. Not only online, because the pandemic period stopped, and we were happy to come back again in the classrooms and to see how to develop our trainings. And this was a good point, because we were able to involve the high schools, and we organize our trainings in different high schools in our city. And it was very good welcome, this idea, to let them be the directors, the teachers, to be at their home, to invite the parents, different kind of parents. I didn't expect it to make my presentation without my PowerPoint, but that's it. And as I said, a very good connection with the high school environment and also with different associations of parents. This was another very good point. And this was in a way the support. This was exactly the support for the workshops, and also to have the very nice video. We don't have time now to present you all the videos, but that are very similar what our colleague presented, and we are very proud of it. Finally, one of the other very strong challenges was that we had to develop our own platform. We was not able, because of the bureaucracy and the other very strict point from the university point of view. This was a construction initially, but after that, this became a very important and very strong point for us, because Gabriela will let you know about our platform, and we are very proud about this. And a lot of people from the infrastructure of the university, IT department and others, become very friendly and very, more than usual, but very close to our project. So the TV station, the IT department, we become another family in order to how to save the project, because look, we have different challenges and we want to do it. So more than translation of methodology, more than we're involved in construction toward the modules and translate and adapt to in our national context. More than we do work together with all the partners for the book and prototypes, I think that together we did every story from each country, and this made the story of our project. And now I will let my colleagues, is it okay now with the presentation?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And please see what happened with our very, very nice platform. Thank you.
Well, sorry about the fact that we don't have a presentation. I'm not sure why technology don't help us, but that's technology. So what you see on the screen is the project platform developed by our university. Michaela told a little bit about this. I have to make a disclaimer why we have chosen an in-house construction. There are several reasons, and the first one is because we are a large institutions with many international projects, and we have internal regulations that force us to have our platforms for projects built by our IT department. Last but not least, I think the most important issue is that we look to the sustainability of the project, because the university commits in every international projects to keep these platforms alive for at least 5 years. And as already you know, after 2 years, project finished, the platform disappeared because there are no money to sustain. So I think our strongest point here is the sustainability of the projects. For each module, and you already saw presented, we have built specific resources as open educational resources, and we have dealt with a lot of software other than CLEMT or other partners use, because they are already paid by our universities. I think the most important part and the most attractive is the video with testimonials. As Michaela told us, we have the support of our TV studio, which help us with subtitling and filming and so on. Another strong issues of this platform is that we use it in our trainings with a lot of elements of pedagogy of gaming, pedagogy of social networking, and pedagogy of controversy. And we just love to bring the controversy in conversation with parents. So what we did, but I can't show you because I can't log in on the platform, is that we offer, besides the recommendations and tips to the parents, we build some micro courses like cards, interactive cards, that can parents choose to follow with their kids. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be with you, and for the fact that for 3.5 years we've been together. I think that when you don't know where you're going, you will most probably find yourself at another place. But it's true as well that when you know where you're going, you may find yourself at the proper place. And I believe that this is what happened with us in Bulgaria, because on the one hand, we had a fantastic model, which we tried to adapt. And also we had a very nice methodology, which we also depending on the local context, we succeeded to a very high extent to make it operational. So basically, there were 5 people in the Bulgarian project team. You see their names. I'm not going to read them, but thank you, guys. You have been an incredible support. Next slide, please. Sure. Sorry. Right. And because I said about the destination, where you're going, and about the probability to find there, we had 2 goals. I mean, the project goals. One was to adapt a working, effective model. The second one was to develop local initiatives. And our tools were the online platform, the training models, and the promotional events that we carried out. So this is where the platform is available. I have no idea if I will succeed. Let me try. No. Yeah, that's how it looks like. There are various categories. And on the first category, we have information about the project. Unfortunately, over 5,000 people have visited the platform. So there is some impact. Given the fact that we aimed at 500, I think we've managed to overdo this number. The second, I don't see it very well. We have like 12, 13 news related to the entire project. The third one is about the project per se, how it has been implemented in Bulgaria, our partners, then we are, and then each of the modules, and the part with the modules has 2 parts. One are the presentations, the second are the methodologies, where we have, in a singular way, the interviews with the children, with the parents, with the experts. Then it's about the European importance of the project, and here we care about the impact. About the impact, I'll talk in the end, but before this, well, these are the Bulgarian participants in the project team. This is an example. This is one of the modules. Well, the kids interviews, the teenagers interviews, parents interviews, expert interviews. About the methodology, we tried to copy as much as possible your way because it proved pretty much productive. And Nadesh, you may probably remember our first attempt when we were too didactic, and we agreed to that. So we tried to be as interactive as possible. What we have achieved. We have done 27 trainings, 23 face-to-face, 4 online, 550 people trained. Normally, there were about 20 people, between 16 and 25 in a module. 8 trainings we did on social media, 7 face-to-face, 1 online. Obviously, proved to be the most looked for module. Internet and privacy, we had 3 trainings, 1 face-to-face and 2 online. 90 people joined this online game, 4 training sessions, 3 face-to-face and 1 online. 96 people trained. Cyberbullying, well, it was also pretty popular, although sad is the fact that cyberbullying is a huge problem on the Bulgarian agenda over the last 3 or 4 years, just coinciding with the COVID pandemic. Cyberbullying goes and goes and goes. So 169 people trained, 8 trainings, all face-to-face. Lastly, online relations and sexuality. To be frank, I expected higher interest in this because sexting, bullying, cyberbullying is a result of online relations and sexuality. But we had only 3 sessions, all of them face-to-face, 52 people trained. So in terms of quantitative criteria, I believe we have done it. The thing is about quality. And here, I guess the key word is, as our Romanian colleague said, sustainability. And I believe, well, there will be sustainability. These are pictures of the various promotional events we did. The first one was during the COVID pandemic. Over 40 people attended the event. Amy Down, she's the head of the European Agency for Protection of Children. It's a state agency, but the very fact that all of a sudden we succeeded to make them active because we've always been criticizing them for staying aside speaks by itself. Here is a public lecture conducted by myself and my friends at Sofia University on parenting and digital reality. We had another online event with an organization called Bulgarian Media Literacy Coalition, co-thinkers, friends, and I'm very happy that we are part of this coalition. So in a way, our agenda to a large extent became their agenda. We tried to make a kind of international taste of this project by using partners from Germany, where we sort of did a joint forum on good practice in media literacy. More than 40 people attended. I mean, all people that you see, panelists and audience, they are very active people in the field of media literacy. There was another international conference on the metaverse, where we succeeded to promote the project and what we have done. It's another meeting with the National Council on Electronic Media. This is the Bulgarian Public Service Regulator. And it's another achievement because so far, it seems to me, although media was talking a lot about online space and children, they have never taken part in an event together with us. Well, we had this happening. This is another event, national conference held at Sofia University. We had lots of people, mainly teachers and many parents as well, where we discussed various aspects of the problem, to end up with an event which was like 3 months, 2 months and a half ago, where another university decided to follow our example. And as a result of this, they produced a book. The recent research as far as aspects of media literacy in Bulgaria are touched upon. So this is the book. Those are the participants. And lastly, about the impact. I believe this impact is at least on 4 levels. Individual impact and all participants, and you have seen lots of people participated in one way or another in the project, so we have individual impact. More important is the professional impact, because now we have lots of people, pedagogues, call them as you wish, who care about the issue, and there are courses at Sofia University now about digital parenting. About the institutional impact, well, at Sofia University, certainly this project made a huge impact because 3 departments of the university got engaged. I believe this example will be followed, and here again, your example is very strong. Lastly, the societal impact. I don't know, we will talk about this probably in 2 or 3 years, or maybe 5 years, but it's like a domino effect. It's like a snowball effect, because now it's an issue. Digital parenting became an issue, and there is a kind of cooperation between parents and schools and academia. This was all thanks to you. I mean, people from Child Focus and Gessenbond who showed us a model, and also to our colleagues that we worked in the project. I mean, Greece, Cyprus, Romania, because, well, there were great support, and we could sort of see where they are and try to be with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. And then last but not least, we come back to Belgium. I will spare you the details of our complex state structure, but that structure made that in Flanders there were, or still, 2 separate training initiatives for parents. There was Veilig Online in Flanders, or there is, and that is Webethiek in the French-speaking part of Belgium. We also benefited from this project to adopt the Flemish best practice in the French-speaking training program. So my colleague Ruud from Child Focus and Veronique Rey from La Ligue des Familles here in Belgium will explain you how we made this into a whole Belgian story.
Thank you. We can go. No. Because, so thank you, Veronique, that I can present this one. Okay, it's better like this. Tout le truc. Right. So thank you, Veronique. I'm Ruth from Child Focus. I'm the project manager on this project, but it's Veronique who is in the lead, the captain of Webetic. I don't know, Veronique, if you want to present yourself. Or it's okay if I do it. So you are marketing director at Ligue de Famille, and Ligue de Famille is the dependent of the Gezinsbond, which was in the lead of this project with you all. So that's nice in Belgium because we always have double things. It's so the Ligue de Famille developed Webetic for the French-speaking part of Belgium. And here is Jean-Luc. It's one of the facilitators, the trainers of Webetic, also present. So he really knows very good this. It's the other. Okay, so that's one we had already. C'est le gros au milieu? Ah, okay. Thank you, Veronique. So the Ligue de Famille, it's the missions are the same as Gezinsbond, but for the French-speaking part of the families, so facilitate the families in Belgium to give them a voice on policy level and so on. They are also member of COFACI. We had Elizabeth this morning here with us. Okay, so the missions are the same as Gezinsbond. The team. So there's one coordinator, that's Veronique. One assistant, she does all the logistic part with the schools. So with the schools are subscribing a session. Virginie, she makes it the match with the facilitator and the school, and 10 trainers. And I'm supported by Child Focus, so I'm the project manager at Child Focus level. Before we had one PowerPoint, so we already talked about it. Gezinsbond Astrid, it was the same. A PowerPoint with a special module for gaming. The gaming was an interactive module already, so we did not do it again this time because it's really it has the same it answers to the same goals of interactivity with the parents. So gaming was not in this ISOE project for the French speaking module. So we had now one website. It's not a client, we choose the website. And we also, to book the session, it's also online. So the module gaming was renewed in 2018. It's very interactive. It's a game. Parents, they have to play the game to learn more about it. So we did not develop it again. It still works very interactive. But now we are going to show you, we talked about it already in other countries. It's the same approach. So it's very dynamic. It's a website, so it's very easy navigation. Nadège, the client also provides this. So you showed it. You can choose the facilitator really can bring up or play with what's brought up from the parents in the group, and then adapt his session to it. The methodologies are the same, a little bit as what you all used, except for the cases. We have practical cases. It's drawings. It's based on drawings, and it's our situations in which your child can be, and the idea is that the parent, we show the situations to the parents, and they have to react about this. And imagine that's your child in that situation, and then after that we have some ideas how to start the dialogue and the conversation with your child if your child is in this situation. So that's one that is really a part for Webetic. As we said, it's not a copy, it's an adaptation with all the sensibilities of each country and the preferences of each part of a country here, since it's still Belgium, but it's French speaking, of course, with some special points. Yes, something that is really different also is that we have one common introduction on all the modules, and the introduction, it's like a quarter, 15 minutes in the sessions, and the introduction is a nice one. Maybe you can show l'introduction. It's a nice one. It's la page de accueil. So it's the common part of all the modules, and the idea is to put the framework that the parents directly know. It has several goals. This one is an icebreaker. The first one, what was your screen time today? So it's the icebreaker. So the parents are directly at ease. They can check with each other and so on. And it's an eye opener. And mostly it's like a fun part of the session. Then we have some videos of experts. Arnaud Zerbo, who was here this morning, we are very grateful that he did this for us. Parents really appreciate, because like he did this morning, he really reassure. He put a framework, so it's very, very nice that we could have him for this modules. Then we have also Bruno Himbig. It's another really expert on a pedagogical level with digital media. And we also use his 3 points. So it's auto-regulation, it's accompany the children, and it's alternance. Alternance, you say it in English? Alternance, change of occupations. Okay, then after this introduction, we go into a specific thematic. And so like as in your countries, the school or the parents, they decided for one of the 4 topics. So that's the 4 topics we have. And we choose for each topic, since they're all on the website, we choose one color per thematic. So it's very easy for the facilitator that he knows that the red one is relation en ligne. It's online relationships, of course, love, red, the color of passion. So he knows when he's in the red part, he knows he's in the module of online relationships. So that's an example of the quiz. So it's like a little bit in blocks. Maybe it's not like the Clint, but it works very well. So the idea is that we ask the parents in a group, which question do you want to see answered? And then they say, yeah, 5 or 4, and then we click on it, and we have the answer. This is the hypothesis, so the statements. An example of the statements, and the same, we ask the parents to give time to read a little bit, and then we ask, okay, which statement do you want we handle at this moment? Okay, then we have the videos. For the videos, we have 4 parts. So the children, the youngsters, the parents. Now the children and youngsters are together, the parents, the experts, and we also have another diverse. It's extra videos on the topics that might be interesting for the parents. Okay, sorry. So these are the cases. There are 4 examples of different modules. The drawings you see directly. That's a pity. How to say it? A situation that is a bit like ik zag een pittige. I don't know in English. An intense situation. Thank you, Nel. So it's like a little bit intense situation, and the idea is that the parents, after that, we ask them what do we think about this situation, and then after that we have the next slide, I guess. That's no, that's all the tips for the parents. So the idea after that is that we gave some ideas how to start a conversation about this situation. Okay, and then we end by the tips for parents. Voilà. So that's the same end for every module. After that, we always have an evaluation form online. It's a Google form. We ask the parents to scan the code and to fill in the formula, because we know that if you ask it afterwards, that they don't fill it in very often. So it's better to do it on the same moment. And this slide also shows some really interesting websites that can help further the parents. So Child Focus, WebEthique, and we should mention also the Parents Connectés, but I guess it was the idea to put it in. Yeah. Okay, voilà. I guess this is the last slide, or there's, yeah, voilà. Okay. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Veronique. Thank you to all of the partners. And I must say, I've been following this project from the sideline, but these partners worked really hard, because some of them mentioned it like quickly. Okay, it was during COVID, so blah, blah, blah. Developing platforms, including testimonies, interviews with experts, is not an easy thing to do when no one can go out. Reaching parents to train them is not a easy thing to do if no one can go out. So it was a challenging project from the beginning, and COVID, as for many other things, made it even more challenging. So I think these results speak for themselves, that the partners in this project really worked really hard. Which leads us to the cliffhanger of the conference with a very loud microphone. I can imagine you're all a bit tired already. So if you want to stand up, we don't have a formal coffee break, but if you want to stand up, have some coffee, there's still some dessert left. So don't hesitate to do that. But I told you we would challenge your patience a bit. My mother did not have to deal with the online world when she was trying to educate me. But what she did teach me is that you have to save the best for last. And that's what we did today. We saved the best for last, because now we are going to present you the SOE prototype. As you have heard today, there are needs, they need to be met. There are a lot of challenges. There was a best practice. It has been localized in several countries, but to try and take this a step further, we designed the SOE toolkits as a prototype, as a toolkit for organizations who are thinking about setting up a program for parents. So we did part of the work for you. The prototype is going to present by Nadesh, who you already heard from today. So to conclude this conference, she will show you how we will try with the SOE prototype to inspire other organizations to set up their own project.
Okay, thank you, Nell, for this introduction. So the last piece, what a pressure you put on my shoulder. But indeed, I'm getting emotional actually after all this presentation. I don't know what is the effect to you, Astrid and Nell and Paola, but to see all that work translated, adapted after 3 years and a half, and also the difficulty we had with the COVID. I think that Gabriela or Michaela was the only one, or you, Caris, to mention it. But actually, we also get through that without. Yes, we could adapt ourselves quite in an easy way. So yes, I'm getting emotional. But to the point, half an hour, I will try to summarize the thing that all the partner, the SOE family, would like to share with you, but also with the participants online. The question is, now it's finished. We are going to live our life in our own countries with our own SOI initiatives. We will try to do our best to be as sustainable as possible. That's one challenge, but the other challenge is also how to promote, how to give this motivation, to share this motivation with other organizations in Belgium, but also in Europe, and further to adopt awareness-raising initiatives towards parents in order to support kids online, in order them to enjoy the experience online. That's why we discussed it a lot. I remember in Cyprus, I think, when we have our first really heavy discussion about how are we going to do that to assure our sustainability, but also to share everything we learned, like you said, when we start, but also our failure, do not to repeat it. How can we optimize and maximize the thing we learned, or success stories to other organizations? We change our mind, we're debating a lot among us, and then we got the point that let's be practical. Let's be practical. Let's just share the questions that we have, the challenge that we face, the difficulties we tackle, and how we find a solution. How did we solve it? And we gather actually everything in this prototype. I mean, by saying this, I already cover all my slides. Yeah, no, yeah. So that's why I make a short introduction for you, for where do we come from to finish and to conclude and to gather every success point or success factors in this prototype. Yes, it's the marriage. It's the magic of the Value Online web ethics story, because no, Nadej, it's going to be all right. Calm down. Voila. Our vision, because the kids, they safety use, the enjoying, like we repeated a lot of time, was actually all the time central in our heart, in our mind, and how to help parents. I like the idea that I think Elizabeth mentioned, stop to say all the time, empowerment, parents. It put a lot of pressure and responsibility. Let's share together, let's reflect together with the parents in order to put the kids in an expert situation, but also to allow them to be kids online also, because at that time where webcams are everywhere, cell phones are everywhere, to control, to shoot, to film, and then to share online, it put also a huge pressure on the shoulder of our kids. Everything they trial and error, could be filmed, could be shared, could be seen by so many people. So that's the philosophy that we shared all the time, and we start at all level with all presentations, with all clients in Belgium. Then yes, I will pass through very quickly. We won this. Yes, do you remember that? Yes. Present for you guys. And Michael, do you remember that? Yeah. Because of that, we win this famous Safer Internet for EU, Europe. I think that Maya Gabriels was the commissioner at that moment. It was 5 years ago. We were so surprised. Wow, we won such a great and honorific award. And that's when we start to share, because after we got a phone from Urania by saying, Nadej, voila, or Nadej, I don't know if it was you, Nell, but child focus, I would like to start this project because of the philosophy, because of the peer-to-peer aspect, because because you start from the parents' point of view without a recipe of a magical receipt in education, you promote debate. I would like to go on board with you. And I have a team also of partners which are potentially interested. And that's a picture of our kickoff meeting. And then we have a lot of fear at Child Focus and at Gezinsbond level, because wow, what a responsibility to be a model. And we came from actually very concrete. The training model is giving like that. So we said, whoa, a model, and we are going to scale up and to strengthen it and to share our expertise. Whoa. So we had at that time quite a lot of questions and feel responsible, because it's where the intention was to scale up and to share it in 5 implementing partner. It was quite a confronting moment, a moment of self-reflection, introspection, and okay, are we actually, do we deserve it? Do we are good in what we do? Is it really evidence-based? What's the impact of the program? So we had many questions. We never shared those dots with you guys. But actually, I remember us now, the meeting that we have with Nell, with Astrid, with Michael, the documentation that we wrote in 2020 March, full COVID lockdown also, not easy to reflect. We had also hours and hours and hours of debate to say, how have we managed to get this point, and how can we also support the 5 implementing partners? How could we coach them? How can we learn from our mistakes? And we decided to write a big documentation, but such a big one, like, and Ellen translated, but I learned today that you not only translate it, you also change the puzzle, the pieces of the puzzle. And you are then also a co-designer of this documentation, 150 page about how to do, so not digest at all. And we said, okay, after 1 year ago, when we tried to see how to make it in a low threshold way, the key lessons learned, the documentation was not a good approach to publish it. And so we did, how can we do, no, voila, Ellen confirmed, how can we go to the essential? How can we go into a very low threshold, also very positive way to give this motivation, convey this motivation to the new organization, which maybe do not have the structure of a university, which maybe do not have the financial that we have the chance or the opportunity to have a child focus level in Lisbon. So when you start from scratch, when you start from nothing, just a willingness and an intention, you in the starting brought a lot of motivation. And then that's why the prototype is actually the toolbox that we put at the disposal, and for each organization willing, targeting parents for the kids, for safer internet use, a creative and positive internet use through the parents. But the kids, I repeat, the kids are also the beneficiaries, are the beneficiaries of this. And this European Safe prototype have been built in the same way of the module, actually. Flexibility. Everything is a starting point. You can take and read it or consult it the way you want. There is no sequences. If you have a question about a business plan or how to communicate, you can start with this, with the chapter 10, with the question 10, or with the question 9, no problem. You use it as a toolbox. You just take the hammer, or you take another tool that you need based on the need of the organization. We could not retain ourselves also to use videos and testimonies of ourselves. So you see the methodology used in the module to replicate it also actually in the prototype. To wake up you a little bit before I zoom in the 10 success factors, what do you think? Like 5 years ago, when we were all together reflecting how to support or to help the implementing partner of SOE, what could be those factors needed for the development, deployment of a successful awareness-raising initiatives for parents? I'll let you like 1 minute to brainstorm. And we chose per se this terminology of awareness-raising initiatives for parents and not training module, because you can also be creative. Here we share what we experiment together through a training module, but it could be also a forum, it could be a campaign, a communication campaign, it could be a forum for peers, for parents, for example. Okay. Involve parents. Localized, yes, practical. I will see if all those fantastic ideas are gathering in the prototype. Testimonies, yes. Think also in terms of projects. Oh, doesn't work for, yeah, but it's a good one. In the morning it works. Does it work for you, everything? It's another one. PM. All right. Hey. To be aware, awake. Peer support, a very interesting one also. Targeted. What do you mean? Who is the person? You? What do you mean by targeted? Who is the ones? Oh, dit maybe online. Okay. If you want to explain why did you put targeted, Rania? Yeah. Okay. Discussion also. Here side of the story, other side of the story, cost efficient. Yes, that we can speak about cost efficientness. Local context, discussions, exchange. We see that we could easily cluster many concepts getting out of this survey. Yes, work with experts, trainers with expertise. We will see a little bit which kind of expertise. Example from real life. This works a lot during the training session. Indeed, compare with online, with offline example. Very, very good tips for when delivering the training. Indeed. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your active participation. I will zoom now to those famous questions that we tackle, that we face a couple of years ago and a couple of months ago, when, first of all, when we were only Gezinsbouw, Ligue des Familles Webétiques, and then with all the SOI family. Actually, we realized that the 10 questions and the obstacle and the difficulties that we met were actually the success factors. So the vision, the pedagogical vision, I will not repeat it. I will just share this one, which is very important to my heart, is this bridge. This bridge, keep this image in your head, the bridge where we try to build between young people and their parents in a non-judgmental attitude. Indeed, we had, I don't know how many training or trainer or coaching session with you guys of the SOI family. On that, we exchange it a lot, but it was the heart and the common link between us, and that's also what makes this program unique and innovative. In theory, this was also one of the big and hard tough also for Cyprus in this project to lead this work. It's try to do, if it's possible, to analyze a little bit the local context. What are the policy at political level? What is the political context? Are there some policies, some laws, some political context which could help you to implement an awareness-raising initiatives? Also, socio-economical level, cultural specificities, and features of a community very present in your country, for example, or a vulnerable community, and what lives among parents. Consult them. Co-creation, co-design. I read it also in the first slides there. Yes, indeed. Do not hesitate when you do not know to have a poll, to have a little survey, to ask the question directly to the parents. Ask the question to them, like we advise to the parents. If you want to know what your kids do online, try a way to just ask him. And of course, you can go to the training, but ask will be the better idea. Based on that, of course, it's important to adapt the awareness-raising initiatives of the plan to the features, but do never leave or take a too big distance with the pedagogical vision. Take an example, if you have the impression that sexting is a difficult topic, or that's political context or socioeconomic or the cultural features of the parents you are going to or in your country, we will help you. It's important to be loyal to your pedagogical vision and to not adapt completely to the cultural feature. I don't know if I'm clear to that, but to change your vision because you are a little bit in difficulty as a trainer, or to convey what you want to say about sexting. that sexting is okay, that we have the duty as a parents to speak about online relationship and online sexuality. It's not the easy way to do, we know that, but it's important to fit and to find a way to make a click, a connection with the parents. Themes and topics to address, of course, here again, consult as much as possible every source of information which could be useful for you. So do consult your Safer Internet Center at national level, helplines or youth care organizations, the young people themselves, parents themselves, experts, of course. So please go to listen to the focus group. We will repeat, and we do that also in other kind of awareness raising initiatives or pedagogical tools. Work with experts. We try to do that all the time. Right, ma'am? Even if we receive the great compliment to be a model at Gezinsbond, Child Focus, or Ligue des Familles, all the time it's important to be supported by different kind of experts from the academic level, but also from media experts, from parenting, psychologists. We could help us in adapting the content, but also not the content of the module, but also the attitude of the trainers. Yes, the platform. Could like a details, but you see how difficult it was 1 hour ago to got through and to solve a technical problem. You have to take into consideration that the choice of your platform for the didactical material, for the testimonies, for the videos is crucial. There is a huge panel, huge possibilities, many choices in different kind of web-based platform. You can have a Clint, you can have a classical PowerPoint, you can have WordPress website, so a full coded and programmed website. You can be embedded in a structure, a greater structure, like you in a university. That's a very big lucky you, because you can take the advantage of be hosted by a bigger network. So you have to be also creative on that, and you have always, like everything, advantage and disadvantage in each. Clint, for example, looks like great, but in several months, it's not going to work anymore because no update. It's not going to be supported by the internet browser. What are we going to do with the Gezinsbond? We will have to analyze and completely rebuild something new. So here's some tips and tricks to help you to take a decision, maybe which direction to take. You will find it in the prototype online, but also in the paper version. But start from what you already know also, to be as independent as possible. So web platform, if you have expertise inside in coding, programming, tant mieux, the best it is. If you also, the choice have to be done based on the methodology and the philosophy of interaction, always to support the trainer. So even if you choose something more in a framework or already embedded in an infrastructure, make sure that you will be able as a trainer, or you give the opportunity to the trainer to be as flexible as possible, to create the interaction, so to have a flexible tool. Okay? Yes, and we haven't done that, but take a backup with you, a PowerPoint all the time with you on a stick. Even if we have a web-based platform, you think that the internet is everywhere easily, Wi-Fi, or to project. You see, no, it's not always the case. So forcing always a B plan. I said in my first presentation, the magic happened with the trainer. The platform, it's not enough. It's a good base, but it's not enough. It's a really complementary story. So recruiting and coaching the trainers is crucial. Very important to recruit the right profile and to keep them on board, motivated. So we have to take care of them, and to be at their disposal for all kinds of questions, like we try to do it during the ASOE project with the 5 implementing partner. And when we recruit, of course, we have the Yeah, we think first that maybe IT specialist of media specialist, but here it's a great mix between parenting, education, and media and social media. So keep in mind that you do not need to recruit an ITer or social media or an influencer. Or another pitfall is to think that you need to recruit parents. It's not true. Of course, it could help. You can share easily example of the daily life when you are a parent, of course, but it's not a compulsory requirement to be a trainer, for example. You can take other examples, you can speak from another point of view. The idea is to help parents to reflect and to see the media education from another perspective. Yes, working with partner to disseminate the initiatives. The main point of this question was how to reach vulnerable parents, how to make sure that we can be as diverse as possible when we reach out, to not always fall in the pitfall of the Matthäus effects, and that the disadvantaged parents also could benefit from the story. We're still struggling with that. You will see, we will do our best to try to explain it in a video and in the chapter of this prototype, but we're still struggling with that. It could be a lie to say, oh yeah, very difficult parents with difficulties or vulnerable parents are participating. We do our best. We do our best to go where they are, to collaborate with local association, with municipality, organization fighting against poverty and so on. But it's not that easy. With migration of refugee parents, it's not that easy. But it must be a point of attention, because like you very good, well said, Carrie, is the ones who most needed the initiatives. Yes, then delivering the training session, invest on train the trainer, invest on lifelong trainings all the time, on coaching, supervision or intervision with the trainers. Believe me, it's an investment, and it's a great return on investment, because the more you are experiment as a trainer, the great it is, the most you enjoy also giving the training, because you are not afraid of the difficult, of the challenging questions. So it's really important to take care of your trainers, to be there and to answer the question, to organize some supervision, to also think about all the methodology of the module, peer-to-peer. It's also applicable to the trainers. They learn a lot from each other, a lot. Internal and communication plan. Yes, I think it's applicable for every kind of tools, every kind of initiative, awareness or communication initiatives. Of course, the stronger is your communication plan, the more you anticipate, the more creative you are in the communication channel you are going to use, the best it is. I should say, keyword here, go local. Go local. Work with municipalities, with a youth care organization, supporting family organization. It's going to be the best way to reach out to parents and schools, of course. The KPIs, the indicators that we saw, fantastic. It's amazing how many parents did you, with all the partners here, able to reach. I think it's also because you collaborate directly with parents associations of schools. So go local. You see also one point, internal communication. Yes, if you start a new project for parents with other partners, do not forget a little risk assessment, I could say, or how to mitigate the problems of communication among your partner. We succeed in it, I think. And again, be there, communicate, let's talk together. If you need a meeting, just have a meeting. But we also had a kind of a work plan for that also. And it brings me to the last one, the pain point, maybe, money. Yes, the business plan. If you start in a way or another, training modules, awareness raising initiatives, anticipate the costs. Try to be creative in the way to raise some funds. we were very lucky because we have the support of the Ministry of Education. That was really a chance for us, and they are still supporting us, and we cross finger that they will still supporting us, but it's not guaranteed at all. Do not forget to knock on every kind of door of ministry, education, youth, media, be creative and dare to do all the things you can receive. It's a no. Please try to. Private companies, yes, also they are also quite responsible and active. I mean, social media companies, maybe IT companies, which could be very happy to be sponsor or a financial partner of such a kind of initiative, training modules for parents. It's like a positive way to profile themselves towards a potential target group for them. So private companies and foundation. Yes, and the training sessions themselves, you can also ask a little bit of money when you organize it. That's what we do to the schools. Of course, it will never cover any costs of very structural costs of this kind of awareness raising initiatives, but it's already something. And when you elaborate your business plan, it's thinking about, of course, the revenue, but mainly the expenditures, and do not forget the staff costs. And certainly if you have this perspective of sustainability, I think at the Gezinsbond, at Child Focus, it's really a full-time equivalent working on that. So it's also, yes, it's, I'm not afraid of spreading fears, but yes, certainly a full-time equivalent. So when you write a project proposal, or if you submit a proposal at European level for private companies of structural, of Ministry of Education, do not underestimate how heavy could be the staff cost. If you choose this kind of model, okay, you can, and that's maybe my conclusion, that here it's the toolkit in a very modest way. It's all the, yes, the best practice that we want to share with all of you and new organizations, but of course, you do not have to apply it in the same way. This SOI training sessions are one kind of response to the parents' needs regarding media parenting. One kind of response, one kind of building a bridge, but you can have many bridges. You can be very creative. It can be a folder, it can be a flyer written stat, it can be one video, could be a blog, could be collaborating with a mom influencer or a dad influencer. Why not? It could be a forum for, we saw Karen repeat it, like no, she didn't say it, but in Medianes, the study about media parenting in Belgium, like young people, the first source of information for parents in need or despaired parents regarding online issues of their kids are peers, are other parents. So a way to stimulate peer-to-peer can happen to workshops like SOI, but also in a forum, but also in chat groups or many bridge to build many work in perspective, a lot of work. So let's start together. We share in a very modest way all what we learn. I'm going to cry, I feel it. Voila, here is the paper version, the PDF version, but also downloadable and also a web version on the SOI website. And I repeat, the video, the testimonies are also very useful. It's actually in 5 minutes, the 10 questions I went through, summarized with testimonies of my fantastic SOI colleagues, which share their own experience on this adventure. And I will close the session like this. Thank you.
Any questions left for Nadesh? Okay, so I think that this concludes this conference day. I'm not going to bother you with lengthy closing remarks, but I think for myself, and I hope I can speak for all of us, it was a fruitful day, a useful day, an inspiring day. I completely see where Nadesh comes from when she says there's something emotional in there. I also remember the day when we got the awards and then afterwards the call, like, can we take your model? And then I reflected back on May 2007, where I was with Michael, because I think that Michael also really owns that we thank him. Michael was at the base of the creation of Veilig Online at the Gezinsbond. He's retired now, but he has followed a long part of this SOE project also. And indeed, we felt very humble and a bit insecure, like, okay, do you think we're that good? Okay, then. And today has been mainly about how the great Veilig Online model has been upscaled and implemented in other countries and regions. But I think that this project has also allowed for the Veilig Online program itself to become even better. Yes, we wrote 150 pages of documentation, but it's literally writing down what's in your head and what you do on a daily basis. And that looks easy, but it isn't, because you have to ask yourself for every action you take the big why question. And it's very confronting to be confronted with your answer. And if you don't know why, then why are you doing it? So I think this is truly a project that has not only upscaled the project through other countries, but also the project or the initiative itself. And I generally think where that is where European collaboration should be all about. So I thank you all very much for attending. I want to thank all the partners for their amazing work in the past 3 years. It has been, and we do a lot of European projects, I must admit, one of the best. We have done with great output and results. Thank you all for attending today. Also, thank you to our online attendees. They had been 70, so it feels like we're in a small group here, but in general, a lot of people across Europe have been hearing this story today, which only proves the need for information to support parents. And I hope that with this project and with the toolkit, we have been able to fill in a small piece of that big puzzle. So thank you all. I wish you a very fine evening in sunny Brussels, and hope to see you somewhere soon. Thank you. Okay, I know it's almost illegal to start talking after you said thank you, but I want to thank one person, especially Paula, who is over there, who has been the driving force after a big part of the SOE project, but especially the driving force behind today. So if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have been here in this amazing location. Thank you for all the technical support. It has been a challenge. We have challenged you. Good night.